are moving from place to place. Good morning, good morning, morning, good morning, morning.
Good morning, viewers. It is 7 a.m. this morning on Thursday, the 23rd of March, 2023. And welcome to the Tobago Updates morning show, coming to you here live from the Port Mall in Scarborough, Tobago. As we continue to give God thanks, I am Julian Skeet here with you this morning. And Rhea isn't in this morning, so we wish her the very best where she is out there, just getting a bit of a relaxation and recuperation. But certainly looking forward to having you back in the mix. All right, viewers, we are on. It is Thursday, the 23rd of March, 2023. I don't know what's happening in Trinidad and Tobago, or in fact, even if I know what's happening in Trinidad and Tobago, the only thing that seems to be ringing out in my mind is $20+ million, the Lotto jackpot, recently won by one person. No, that person is not Julian Skeet. All right, but at this point, have no fear, viewers. We'll chat about that a little bit later on, because I heard that the happenings was right here in Tobago where that winning ticket was purchased. Perhaps it was Chanel, who knows? We head on over to news in 90 seconds.
Oh, I only wish it was me, Julian. Thank you so much. And guys, I have your news in 90 seconds for Tuesday, the 23rd of March, 2023. Success was noticed in people who participated in the ongoing island-wide customer service training. CEO of the Tobago Hospitality and Tourism Institute, Dr. Stephan Shepherd, said that over 2,000 people have already been trained and their level of customer service has drastically improved. They are from various sectors, spanning from tour guides, hotel and supermarket employees, even employees at the Airport Authority, Customs and Immigration, and the Tobago Festivals Commission, and some departments in the THA. The THA partnered with THTI and Uplifting Services from Singapore for a 3-year-long exercise to improve customer service throughout the island. Additionally, the Secretary for Education, Research and Technology, Zoisha Hackett, said Tobagoans need to begin winning more scholarships again. She expressed her concerns at the launch of the Ministry of Education's Digital Transformation Program, claiming that no Tobago student received a Cape National Scholarship in 2022. Hackett said she was disappointed by the students' performance last year. However, she noted that challenges coming out of COVID-19 pandemic affected many students, and that the division is continuously working towards addressing these problems. And finally, according to the International Organization for Migration report, the number of homeless migrants in Trinidad and Tobago is increasing. The report was revealed that improved the labor trends and decreased instances of informal work and underpayment among Venezuelan nationals in Trinidad and Tobago. However, it identified the need for improvement to access to food, income generation, shelter, and education and training as top priorities. Additionally, it showed a steady reduction in arrivals to Trinidad and Tobago since 2020, although 57% of respondents had irregular immigration status. And that was your news in 90 seconds. Back to you, Julian.
Thank you so much there, Chanel, bringing us the news here in 90 seconds. Chanel, what's your thoughts? That Lotto jackpot, the understanding is that the ticket was actually sold in Bacolod, Tobago. Doesn't that make you feel like you were so close to collecting that 23 plus?
Well, honestly, Julian, I don't really find myself gambling, but good luck. I mean, congratulations to the person who did win. I'm hoping that it was one of my family members, actually, and that they gave me a call, to be honest.
Yes, certainly. All right, then. Thank you so much there, Chanel, bringing us the information, bringing us the details here in terms of the news and the happenings. All right, viewers, as we continue this morning, it's important for us to give you just a heads up. We have coming up in the discussions this morning, we will be chatting as part of our rundown with Travis Gardner, and meteorologist and forecaster, Tobago Met Office. And we'll be chatting about World Meteorological Day 2023. All right, we'll also be having some conversations with Camille Ali, and that's Director director of the masjid located down there in Lowlands. And we're speaking about the holy month of Ramadan, as we kickstart the holy month of Ramadan. And we also have on the rundown this morning, Fitzherbert's Glenn Niles, a founder and the chairman of the Down Syndrome Family Network. And we're speaking World Down Syndrome Day 2023. And you know, it's always very interesting to see the happenings now, particularly in this space. So it's not just limited to just today. It's not just about rocking your socks, but really looking beyond that in terms of how we can contribute and go further. And I would have had the opportunity to see the Division of Education. I'm not sure if the other divisions are doing it, but I saw via social media the Division of Education going beyond just rocking your socks. And I want to say kudos and commendations, because they're actually collecting with the creation of a fund to be able to collect in order to give back to persons in, within the cause. And my understanding is that this symbolic socks that was designed and is housed at the Division of Education is going to be used over the period in terms of collecting funds, for which at the end of the day they will be making that contribution. So I want to say kudos and shout outs to each and every one of you that will make those contributions, whether you're a part of the division by virtue of staff or visiting the Division of Education. Well done, Division of Education, leading the way in terms of getting the public involved. All right, at this point, viewers, we're going to head into our birthday celebrations this morning. All right, and we have on with us to start off the birthday lineup this morning. We send a birthday shout out to Asana Gonzalez, and happy birthday greetings is coming from your mom, your dad, your siblings, aunt and uncle, wishing you a happy birthday this morning. We also, a beautiful day in terms of the combinations in casual school uniform, all right, in that blend. We also send a birthday shout out this morning is going out to Carrie-Ann Darwin out there, wishing you a happy birthday and God's continued blessings. I know the celebration started yesterday, but certainly do enjoy. All right, and we have on screen Kansia Applewhite, and this birthday greeting is coming from your sister Madeline, your niece Alyssa, and nephew Ethan and Elliot, your brother-in-law Ainsley Waldron, and the entire Waldron family, and the Simon Frederick family circle, wishing you a happy birthday. I know they've got things in store for you, so do certainly enjoy the celebrations. This dynamic young lady on screen, I had the opportunity to host alongside her for an event. Certainly, indeed, this morning I want to shout out Kathleen Kwashi, better known as Auntie Kathleen, yes, in that education sector. And it's almost, you see her with different appearances, different looks almost every time you connect with her. This morning we're taking the time out to wish you a happy birthday, Kathleen Kwashi, aka Auntie Kathleen. And that's coming from the staff and students of Little Jules Early Childhood Center. Certainly wishing you a happy birthday and God's continued blessings this morning. All right, I thank you so much to each and every one of you connecting with us. At this point, we head on into Tobago in Focus.
Providing optimal performance to the people of Tobago is what Secretary of the Division of Infrastructure, Quarries and Urban Development, Trevor James, and his team are working toward as the transformation of the division takes place. The Secretary says one of the ways that has been successful in achieving this is establishing partnerships with private sector companies to fund public sector projects. He notes that Tobago cannot continue to depend on central government for project funding.
We have come up with a strategy of bringing private sector funds
into Tobago to do public works. And I think we've successfully done 2 or 3 jobs like that. We're trying to stagger the payments over 9 and 18 months. That way, we pay part in next fiscal and part fiscal after that. So we're trying to use the limited funds we have as strategically as possible. I know there are moves about to bring more private funds into this space, and we'll continue to do that. It's the only way we can counter this budgetary constriction that we have.
Another is empowering and optimizing the division's greatest asset, its human resource capacity.
We wanted a system where we could bring the benefits of project management, project planning, project execution, and so on to the division, and to use the expertise, engineering expertise we have on the books in a way that we not only build the capacity that engineers perform, but we brought their skill and their training to the planning stages, to the planning of projects.
Change takes time. However, Secretary James is confident that these, along with other strategies, will enhance the division's service to the people of Tobago.
Thank you. Welcome back, viewers. And it's such a lovely Thursday morning this morning. I'm your host as well, Brittany Romeo, and we're here to talk about World Met Day 2023. So I am joined now with Mr. Travis Gardner. Good morning.
Good morning to you.
And how are you doing?
I'm okay.
You
Good
can
morning
speak
to
a
the
little
listeners
louder?
as well.
This is your first time in an interview, or you're normal with this?
I was actually here last year doing the same thing.
Oh, really?
Yes.
Okay, well, I guess you're accustomed to it, so we're going to have a fun time talking about this morning, right?
Yeah.
So this is Travis Gardner. He's a meteorologist and also forecaster. That's interesting. How did you get involved in meteorology?
Actually, as a child going to Bishop's High School.
You went to Bishop's too?
Yeah.
Okay, well, shameless plug. We'll take that too.
The best school in Tobago.
It is. Well, let's not start a conversation here because Juliet will start a war. But anyways, as you were saying.
Right. My geography teacher, Ms. Hackett at the time, would have introduced me to meteorology as a career path. And from there, I would have looked into it. I was interested in the field, and I would have went on to university in Barbados, Cape Verde, and studied meteorology before coming back to Tobago. I worked in Piaco, and now I'm working at the Crown Points.
And how is the experience working as a meteorologist? Just curious before we start today's conversation.
I feel privileged, you know. Not a lot of persons who go and study get to work in their field of study.
Okay, that's true.
So I really enjoy that. And I always enjoy the weather and the climate. Any kind of research or just predicting what the weather is going to do from day to day is a joy to me. So I really enjoy working in my career path or my field.
Okay.
Right.
So tell us about World Meteorology Day, because this is the first time I'm hearing about this, actually. So,
really?
Yes.
Okay. Well, first, let me start by wishing you a happy World Met Day 2023.
Thank you.
Today is the 23rd of March,
Right.
which is recognized globally as World Met Day. What this day is all about is that actually in the year 1950, the World Meteorological Organization came into force.
Okay.
Right? That is the body that governs meteorology across the globe. So what the National Met Services usually do is celebrate World Met Day on this day because it celebrates our governing body.
Okay.
And we are the National Met Service here in Trinidad and Tobago, the Trinidad and Tobago Meteorological Service. So we use this day to celebrate meteorology, and we try to get the public, you know, to engage with us and celebrate meteorology with us.
Okay.
Right? So usually, well, since the year 1961, the WMO, as we say for short, for World Meteorological Organization, they usually give a theme for World Met Day.
Okay. Yeah.
And usually we use that theme and we do activities get around the theme. Like I mentioned before, I would have been here last year, and the theme for last year would have been early warning and risk, etc. And we were just coming out of the pandemic, so we had a photo competition, and coming on here, a lot of persons participated, and we had winners. Both I think was a junior and an adult winner we had for the photo competition last year.
All right, so I'm seeing this year that the theme is all about the future of weather, climate, and water across generations.
That's right.
Very prophetic. So tell us something. What are some of the plans for World Met Day in Tobago this year?
Right. So last year we were just coming out of the pandemic. So the activities we planned were more virtual. We had virtual classroom sessions and virtual career fairs as well. This year,
we're going outside.
That's right. We want to go outside. So we said, okay, what can we do? We want something, you know, fitness-based, something that everyone could come together and be a part of. So we said, okay, we're going to do a 5K this year. The route is from Parade Grounds by the White Sox Stadium, and it finishes by our head office, which is Cast Building in town.
All right.
Right. We already have everything planned out. Registration is free of charge. We're just asking everyone on the island, everyone here in Tobago, to come out and participate. Whether you want to walk, run, jog, or you want to bike, just come out, participate. We're asking persons to wear white and come out and enjoy with us.
What's the significance of wearing white?
We just want to look uniform on the road. You know, we want to take nice pictures. We're going to have educational signs along the way for persons to take pictures with. And we want to have a nice day for World Met Day. We think white is an easy color for persons to wear, basically.
It is. Well, yes, I think so as well.
That's basically the idea.
So apart from World Met Day, are there any other programs or initiatives that the meteorological section does for us in Tobago?
Well, for us, we want someone in the future to be able to take my job.
Yeah. Okay.
So we always try to engage the younger generations. Like I said last year, we would have had the virtual career fair and classroom sessions. We more engage students doing geography and environmental science. Although to get into this field, maths and physics is very important. So we push that as well. So we are always involved with the schools, trying to get students to see meteorology as a viable career path. Apart from that, I also take part in a campaign alongside TEMA, the Make Yourself or Make Tobago a Hard Target campaign that we ran during the hurricane season last year. That is just to sensitize persons and get them prepared for the hurricane season. Do you have an evacuation plan, etc.? That campaign would have ended in November last year, but we want to pick it up a little earlier this year to get persons prepared for the hurricane season later on this year. So those are some of the things that the Met Service are really involved in. Apart from that, obviously, we issue our daily forecasts. We do outreach programs in some of the communities, and we continue to, go around the island, putting up weather stations so we can get weather data from across the island to improve the status of weather and climate here in Tobago and do our part as part of the national weather community. Okay, so could you tell us about a typical day after, well, I guess, like, for example, today, after when you finish here with your interview at Tobago Updates, what are you going to do next? Well, things is kind of hectic right now because I have a lot of the planning for this 5K. But outside of that, right, as a meteorologist, you're always in training because you have to stay on top of your skills. So actually, because of this 5K, I'm missing out on a training program. I'm not sure if you know Darian Mitchell. He works at TEMA. We have been going on a training program over the last 3 months. And this was the final week of training in Trinidad that I had to miss this week because I have to finalize the plans for the 5K. Can we ask what the training is about, since it's about ensuring that you're more edified in the Met? Well, this training in particular is more about flood mapping and to do with the mangroves in Tobago and how we could use meteorology and some of the persons from Environment Tobago to increase our knowledge and understanding of the mapping of the area here in Tobago. Right? That is an initiative, I think, was from the environmental team, and they invited us as the Met Service who have some information on GIS, etc., to come along on the training as well. Okay, so let's go back to the World Met Day 5K run. And I'm seeing that, of course, warm-up starts at 5:30. Right. 5:30. 5:30. No, you know Tobago, right? So we are smart. We say 5:30 because we are hoping by at least 6 a.m. we can leave and get, you have to do it in a smart way. Fair enough. But we have Mr. Dennis James, who is a fitness instructor. He's a part of Dennis Fitness. He's going to be there to come and get the juices flowing, get persons warmed up. We need to do a little stretch. We're not just going to send persons out on the road to get any injury or stuff like that. Right. So we're going to get persons warmed up and ready to take part in the 5K. Now, I also see there only the first 100 finishers will receive medals. So what about the others? What are we going to get? Unfortunately, so we had to go back. You have video, right? But I think the first 100, that's good. Because I would assume that you're expecting more than 100 persons to participate in the event. Yes, but we have to make it competitive. It just can't be everybody gets a medal. If you want a medal, you need to come in the first 100. Yeah, you went to Bishops. You clearly went to Bishops. Okay, so thank you so much. But as it stands, because we know that climate change does affect our island states, especially in the Caribbean. Right. So are there any measures or anything that has been put in place to make more persons aware of how important the Met is, and to make sure that, okay, we are aware that climate change will affect us if it is that we're not ready, or if we do put things in preventative modes in order to protect us in the long run? Okay, I'm glad you asked. So yes, you are right. Trinidad and Tobago, the Caribbean region, we are some of the most vulnerable when it comes to climate change and effects of climate change. And that's why World Met Day and other programs like this is important. So the WMO has other agencies like the International Meteorological Organization, which is IMO, which standardizes the collection of meteorological data and the transfer of meteorological data, which allows for studies on climate change. And those kind of studies is the data we use to help small nations like Trinidad and Tobago, so the globe can understand what we are going through and how the intense hurricanes and storms are affecting us. Right? So these are the kind of programs we use to sensitize persons. We always try to do stuff around World Met Day to get persons in Tobago engaged, and we try to reach out to the community to make them understand, how actions could affect us in the long run.
All right, so Travis, thank you so much. I think you've been very insightful this morning, sharing about what we're going to be happening for World Met Day and also what is happening with Meteorological, excuse me, organization. So we just want to say thank you so much. I'm looking forward to the event on Saturday. I might actually sign up and take part on Saturday. You never know.
I would just say, in closing, thanks for having me. We have things in place for the 5K. We have shuttles available to take persons to and from Shore Park and the parade grounds. Registration is free. We also have police service there for your service. We have the nurses. We have ambulance on standby. We even have a music truck to go along with persons who would be walking the 5K. So even if you come to plan and take a nice walk, it's fine. We have preparations in place for everyone. So we're inviting the entire island, all of Tobago, to come out and be a part of our 5K. It's the first 5K here in Tobago.
Thank you so much. So up next, viewers, we have Mr. Camille Ali, and he's the director of the, I'm sorry for this, but the Masjid Al-Tabwa in Lowlands, and he's going to be talking about the holy month of Ramadan. I'm sorry if I did not pronounce it properly, but I will get the proper pronunciation after. So you're watching Tobago Updates up next, and stay tuned.
Tobago, here's the real deal. Nothing sweeter than when your internet fast all day, every day. I telling you, it's real nice when your home internet and TV package fit your budget. Well, if that's what you want, you're safe with Digicel Plus. Sign up or switch to Digicel Plus now and pay $0 for 1 month. Plus, plans start as low as $199 and you get installed for free. Visit digiceltt.com or a Digicel store now.
We live where you vacation. Come let we go, come let we go, come let we go to sweet Tobago. Come let we go, come till you know, come find your soul in sweet Tobago. Come let we go, come let we go, come let we go to sweet Tobago. Come let we go. October will never be better. With Tobago, carnival fever. Walk your passage and come on over. Put a smile on your face when you're moving from place to place. Good morning, good morning, morning, good morning, morning.
Good morning, viewers, and welcome back to the Tobago Updates morning show. It is 7:24 a.m. and we're heading into this segment as we start the conversation with Camille Ali, director of the Masjid in Lowlands, and we are speaking the holy month of Ramadan. Morning to you.
Hi, good morning, and let me greet you with the universal greeting of Assalamu Alaikum, which means peace and blessings be upon you, and good morning to all the beautiful people of Tobago.
Excellent start this morning. So as we get the conversation started, it is our understanding that the month of Ramadan would have started yesterday, correct?
Yesterday after sunset.
After sunset.
Yes.
So for the benefit of our viewers and listeners, let's start from the very basics. What is the month of Ramadan who celebrates the month of Ramadan?
Okay, so the month of Ramadan is one every month in the Islamic calendar. We have 12 months also. And the month of Ramadan is indeed a very special month. You know, it has started yesterday afternoon because the moon was sighted. We based ours on the sighting of the moon, and it started yesterday around 6:30. Month of Ramadan would have started. Ramadan is a special month because a couple of things. One, our holy book, the Quran, was sent down in the month of Ramadan. Also, as notable thing is that fasting was made compulsory during the month of Ramadan. So these two things tie with the month of Ramadan. And more important is a fasting that we have started from this morning. Our fasting has started from the break of dawn, which is like around 4:45. We had to stop eating this morning and go straight throughout the day until sunset this afternoon. And you know, the Muslim fast, it's a different fast. It's a rigorous fast where we abstain from everything: food, drink, marital relations, you know, complete food and drink throughout the entire day until sunset this afternoon. You know, other religions, you know, your fasting might be staying away from salt or staying away from water, or staying away from meat. But the Muslim fast is total abstinence.
And that is for specific people, or that's at the start of Ramadan?
Start of Ramadan,
Right.
and Ramadan will end. Ramadan is basically 29 or 30 days.
Right.
So the end of Ramadan will be the next sighting of the crescent, which is like about a month away.
Right.
So it's based on that calculation.
So the obvious question that usually comes from many, if the fasting is that rigid, how does it cater to? I mean, I'm already familiar, but share with our viewers, for those who may not be able to go to that extent for medical reasons or whatever reasons, are they catered for
Beautiful.
also as part of the fasting?
So, you know, like Islam is such a beautiful religion. It's such a simple religion. You know, it has everything that is enshrined with regards to the fasting, those who could fast and those who can't fast. So the people who, let's say, can't fast are children, small children. Normally, once you reach the age of puberty, you have to start fasting, you know. Once you are healthy, of sound mind, you can fast. Then the exemptions are for those, the old and the weak and the sick, you know, those who are insane, the pregnant mothers, you know. So there are categories of people who can't fast. Now, let's say, for instance, a healthy person who normally fasts throughout the month of Ramadan, for some day during the month of Ramadan, he has to travel on business and so on, or he is ill on that particular day, he is exempted from fasting. So that day, he's exempted from fasting, but when the month of Ramadan finishes, he have until the next Ramadan to make up for that fast, because the fasting is compulsory. So it is not something like once you miss it, you know, you just have to leave it out. When Ramadan is finished, you have to make up for it. Like, and as I said, the category of people who might be sick, who might be traveling and so on. Now, let's say, for instance, an old person, a very old person, he doesn't have to make up the fast. But what that person has to do is feed, once he can afford it, feed one poor person every single day that he is not fasting, because he's exempted from fasting.
Wow. So I want you also to tell us a little bit. We spoke about the period in terms of the start, and it's generally a 30-day period. Tell us about that connection with, Eid al-Fitr that comes on that latter end.
Yes. So let's say the fasting period is for 1 month, and then after that we look out for the crescent moon. Once the moon is sighted, we know that the next day we celebrate the day of Eid al-Fitr. So Eid al-Fitr culminates the end of the month of Ramadan. That is the day that you celebrate all you did throughout the month of Ramadan, all the good deeds, you know, making peace with your Creator, getting closer to your Creator. There's so much of devotion, so much what you would have learned during the month of Ramadan. That Ramadan now teaches us, is not only abstaining food and drink, but the spirituality behind this whole thing is that we get closer to our Creator. It makes us feel, how a person who is there, who doesn't eat for days, who is hungry and so on. So that brings you the connection. When you fast, closer to your Creator. So when the month of Ramadan finishes now, on that day of Eid, you are not allowed to fast on that day. Nobody can fast on that day because that is a day of celebration. That is a day of giving, the day of, celebrating, the day of giving charity. So many different things, giving back to the community and so on. And that day, that is one of our major day in the Islamic calendar, the day of Eid al-Fitr. When we get together, we go to the mosque and people, advise to wear their best clothes and so on. So there's so many goods happening on the day of Eid al-Fitr.
Right. As we speak to this, and this was one thing I've certainly become a little bit impressed with over the years. People hear of the month of Ramadan, and Muslims coming together, praying and so on. Tell us a little bit about those efforts that go beyond just those who belong to the faith. Are the efforts to assist and to help those in need limited to those who are within the faith? Or is it an open arms to go far and wide within your community in Tobago?
Such a beautiful question because, Islam teaches us when you help people, you don't help Muslim alone, you help everybody. And I just want to give you an example. Just about 2 years ago when we had the COVID pandemic and the government was giving assistance in terms of hampers and these things, some community, they were only reaching out to their community and say, listen, we have to reach out to our community. Yes, by and large, this is good, but at the same time, you have to reach out to everybody. So at our community there in Lowlands, when we were giving out hampers, sometimes there were hundreds of people from all different backgrounds. And even, let's say, people from the Venezuelan nationals, because at that time, people weren't giving them assistance. They were saying, let us give our people first. But no, that is the wrong concept. We're supposed to help everybody in time of need. In fact, just 2 years ago, there was an Islamic organization from Trinidad that came up. And, they brought up about 500 hampers during that time. It was a program within the Muslim community of Tobago. And, we had one of the first people we reached out to was our Seventh-day Adventist brothers and sisters who we are very, very close to. And they dropped 100 hampers for them, And this shows you that, as a Muslim or even a person of any other faith, it is our duty and responsibility to reach out to everybody because we are all God's children. And this is what God teaches us, help each other and so on and things. So that's why, like a lot of things like people give out charity and so on during the month of Ramadan. And even in our community, in my community, Tobago, there are a lot of people, let's say in Tobago in general, who normally reach out to me. I know that people, they're going through a hard time and so on. So sometimes with even our little resources, we always try as best as possible to see how we could help people. Because, the Almighty Creator has blessed us tremendously with so many things. And it is incumbent upon us to always help the less in society, the needy and so on.
All right. Tell us about those time periods in terms of as you're going through Ramadan, the openness of the mosque to persons, whether it be Muslims or others who may have an interest in the faith.
Right. So in Tobago, the Muslim community has really grown throughout the years. Years ago, the Muslim community was just a handful of people, 30, 40 people. Today, we are over 300 people in Tobago. And the beauty of our community is that our community is really blessed and a mixed community. When you come there, you see half of the brothers and sisters of East Indian descent, half of the brothers and sisters of African descent. And the beauty about it is that everybody live together in such harmony because at the end, because Islam teaches that all of us are equal in the sight of God. And we have to treat everybody with kindness, respect, with love. And we must share everything over the board with everybody. Now, during the month of Ramadan, it's really, really a nice feeling, a nice atmosphere because, that's a time of camaraderie, it's a time of love, brotherhood, unity. You see every day people come to the mosque in the evening, we gather to pray and to break our fast. Breaking of the fast, which is called the iftar, that's breaking of the fast in the afternoon, and this takes place at sunset every day. When we break our fast with simple things like a date and some water. Then we say our prayer, we come back outside, we have dinner with all our brothers and sisters. There are people that normally pass through the community and so on, and we always welcome people because, as I said, that this is something as religious people we have to do. You must always be a welcoming organization to anybody. Even last year while we were sitting one evening, the Honorable Chief Sec, he walked in and he came and joined us for iftar, and then it was such a wonderful sight to see.
Yes.
And he spent the time with us during the month we have a lot of people, like government ministers, people from the Tobago House of Assembly, that they would pass through and join us, just to see what's it like and to get that feeling, what we do after we break our fast. Because this month of Ramadan is an entire month. It teaches us, self-restraint. It teaches us how to become a better person. It teaches us how to connect to our Creator more closer. And at the same time, when it teaches us all these things, teaches us, like when the month of Ramadan, we have to continue. It's not only for the month of Ramadan, we have to continue being a good person. After the month of Ramadan, we have to continue doing all the good works, because the month of Ramadan is really a training ground. So that time, it's such a wonder, like when the month of Ramadan starts, right? The whole atmosphere, you feel it, it changes. The beauty about the month of Ramadan starts, so this time, this is the period of Lent. Just on Monday, I was with Dr. Boris at the Baha'i Center, where they celebrated Nowruz. So everything is happening at one time, So this is such a great thing, that all these positive things, because we live in a society now where there's seen as so much of negativity, so much of things that happen, in the world, in the society. People have so much of road rage. People, they don't have that connection. They don't have that love for each other again. That people just are thinking about themselves. But we have to understand, that so much has happened in the last couple of years. We are still here. There were so many people, hundreds of people, thousands of people who were here last year. They are not here again. They have died, that they have gone. I just give you a couple of examples. The day that the motorcyclists, I just like to send our condolences to these 3 people who have died in last week in Tobago. This is really a sad thing. When he left that morning for a beautiful ride, the family never expected that he would come back home in a coffin. When the youngster from Bishop High School, we went out to have a good time with his friend, family never expected that he would die. Just 2 days ago, on Milford Road, close to the mosque there, the gentleman who ran into the tree and the accident, and he died on his birthday. The family never expected that when he left the home. Look what happened. This is a lesson for all of us. This is a lesson for all of us to realize that our time on this earth is very, very short. We have to live our life in the best possible way. We have to live a life of caring, of loving, because right now, look what's happening in Trinidad. The road rage, the whole society, so much of murders, 600 murders for a small country. Look at what's taking place there,
Yes.
And this is something that we all have to be concerned about, because it affects us in one way or the other. So I just wanted to bring up this, just in a little way there to let people know that there is hope, but we have to turn back to our Creator. And this month, as I say, it really draws us closer to our Creator, because the amount of good deeds that we do in this month, as I say, it is a set in stone that we continue when the month of Ramadan finishes, and we must always try, as I say, to help each other and so on.
And it's a good indication, just within our conversation here alone, you're making the connections with the SDA, 7-day Adventist, Dr. Boris, and the Baha'i.
Yes.
And I'm also seeing on the live Litmoy Brebner Dillon. Not sure if you're familiar with the name, indicating that what you're saying, this is a fact, because while members of our community refused to give us to share, Imam Ali gave us, we were then able to share with people in need. So it really speaks about, if we're able to get that kind of togetherness and that connection, or if we get that right, how Trinidad and Tobago and the world at large will be such a better place. I can't have you on and not speak to one of the areas, that's really a standout for me in terms of learning about the faith, in terms of the pillars of Islam. I'd like you to, just share a little bit on that with us.
So Islam is based on 5 pillars. I'll go through them very briefly. The first pillar is Iman. Iman means to have faith and have firm conviction there's one God. Muslims believe in one God and only one supreme God. Now, plenty of people hear the term Allah, right? So they would think that, Muslim pray to a separate God, but no, we believe in one God. Allah means one. It means one. So why we don't say God is because God could have plural terms. God, gods, goddesses. So we use the term Allah, which means one. So when a person hears somebody say Allah, it's the same God you pray to. It's just the terminology is Allah. Our second pillar is Salah, the 5-time prayer. A Muslim pray 5 times a day, every day of the year, holiday or no holiday, that is incumbent upon us, rain, sunshine, storm, anything, we pray 5 times a day. So that's the prayer. Then we have after the prayer, now we have the fasting in the month of Ramadan, which comes once a month every year. That this month that teaches us, to our connection to the Creator, to get closer to the Creator, to keep away from food, drink, and marital relations, to make us a better person and to help us to build ourselves physically, spiritually, morally, intellectually. And then now we have the Hajj pilgrimage that we go once in our lifetime to Mecca to visit the Holy Land, because that's the birthplace of Islam, you know. So the Hajj is, now when people go to Hajj, right, and they see this black thing, a lot of people sometimes think that we pray to that. We don't pray to that. That was the first mosque in the time of Abraham. So everybody can't get into that. So what we do? We pray around it. That's where Islam started, you know. So people have this thing to say, but look, all this prayer. We don't. That is just a symbol that where Islam has started, you know. So this is the five pillars that, you know, constitute making up of Islam. And, you know, like I said that you know, one thing I would like to mention also that in Tobago, you know, the Interreligious Committee is a very unique and close-knit body. You know, I'm very close with my dear brother Wilfred Devines from Seventh-day Adventist, Dr. Elizabeth Boris, you know, Ms. Bipat from the Hindu Society, you know, Father Leslie Tangai from Roman Catholic, Bishop Dillon from the Baptist, and so on. We all attend each other's functions. We all attend each other's activities. You know, plenty of people have this concept that, you know, because, you know, I'm a Muslim or I belong to this faith, I mustn't go to that person. That's wrong. We are all God's creation. We are created from the same God. We have to go back to the same. We have to go back to the same God, because in Islam we believe in life after that. That we have to go back to our Creator one day. So, as I said, you know, we live in a unique island which is called Tobago, and those of us who are living here, we are truly blessed and truly fortunate to be living on an island like this. You know, just imagine if we were born in Syria or one of these countries where there's so much of war and so much of famine and so much atrocities. Look where we're living. But you know, a lot of time, you know what happened? We take things for granted, and we take the people around us for granted. And this is something that, you know, in our lives, what we must do is that never take each other for granted, because tomorrow is never promised. We might be sitting down here talking, well, I don't know if we would live for this afternoon, if we would live for tomorrow. So, you know, my message is that, you know, let us all try to live together as one. Let us put aside our differences. Let us, you know, work together for the betterment of our society. Let us see what we can contribute to our society. And one thing I would like to add, you know, a part that we are discussing Ramadan and so on, is that, you know, one of the things that I have always advocated in Tobago, two things in fact. One is for recycling the plastic bottles and so on, which we have a big recycling bin at Lowlands where people bring their plastic bottles and they come and collect. We do that in a very large way, and I think that it helps the environment. And secondly, welfare of animals. In Tobago, I think this is a serious problem that, you know, many times, you know, I don't mean to offend anybody, we hear about a lot of animals being poisoned and killed and so on. I just wanted to let people know we will have to account for these things. You know, you know, like, you know, Mahatma Gandhi said in the civil, you could judge a nation, the greatness of a nation, based on how you treat your animals. You know, and I mean, the animal shelter is doing a lot. They could do only certain amount, but we have to do our part. And you know, like, you know, sometimes we might think that dogs and cats something as a nuisance, but what we have to remember, they are a creation from the Almighty, and we have to, the same way we have to treat each other with love, respect, and kindness, is the same way we have to treat our animals with respect, love, and kindness, because in Islam, animals are very, you know, you have to treat them in a humane sense, you know. And I know that sometimes, a lot of time, people, you know, that, you know, when they get annoyed or the animals might come and bust up the poison, we should not do these things. So I just wanted, on a point, to just bring it out so that people can be more conscious and be more aware, because Islam teaches us that, you know, when you need to bring out something, or people need to know, you must speak about it so people can be more conscious and more aware.
Right. I've also, as I heard you reference the other faiths as well.
Yes.
I know that you're one of the committee members.
Of the Tobago, I'm also a member of the Tobago Faith-Based Council, which was for my Tobago of Assembly last year.
Tell us a little bit about that. Would have been an initiative introduced by the Tobago House of Assembly, as you said, last year, under Secretary Terence Baines, for the Division of Community Development, Youth Development and Sport, as one of, I suppose, naturally based on his background as a pastor, recognizing that even with the many efforts that we may make in a society, if we don't go back to our very foundation, which is something very essential in the Tobago area, especially, no matter which religion you belong to. Tell us a little bit about that experience working together.
So this initiative was really, really a great initiative. And I must come and congratulate the Tobago House of Assembly and more so Pastor Terence Bain, because this is something visionary. When one analyzes faith-based organization in Tobago, it's the largest group of people are the religious people in Tobago, religious body in Tobago. So Pastor Baines, his vision was to form, just as how we have state entity, to form what you call a Tobago Faith-Based Council. Our chairman is Bishop Sheldon Holer, who is doing a really good job. In fact, tomorrow we have meeting. We normally meet at the community development. This council was formed. The main idea behind this council was to form it to assist organization with funding and otherwise other resources. We know that resources are limited in Tobago. So very soon, because right now they're just putting together some guidelines and so on and just finishing up something. But the council is active. We have been meeting for the past year, trying to formulate plans and how we're going to execute these things, how we're going to help different organizations, because this is to help all religious organizations in Tobago in terms of funding for their churches, for their temples, for their mosques, for anything at all. Because, one time for election and time for so many things, we know that people come to you, So what is so that we must not only go to the faith-based organization at this time, at convenient time, we must try, to help them. And the main idea was this, was that the faith-based council would work together to help all these organizations so that they could develop and build. Because any organization that you look at, it takes a lot of resources and a lot of money to run these organizations. Charity, bills, expenses, stipend that you might pay to the religious leaders and so on. No, these monies have to come from somewhere. And we know that people, they normally donate money and so on, right? But at the same time now, we know that the economic times, it's not like before. It's a more difficult time. So people don't give, even in August, they don't give as before. So you have to look at probably trying to do your own fundraisers and so on. So the Tobago Faith-Based Council, their mission is to assist and to make people's lives better in Tobago over the board, right through, all the faith-based organizations to help and to assist in any way they could possibly can.
And from quite simply just hearing you here as we start and we speak in relation to Ramadan,
yes.
You get the clear sense that this relation over the last year has little been working for, because it now positions, churches and, all institutions in terms of, with that focus on faith, to be able to give back
yes.
and to assist in some way, form or fashion. What would be your message for persons who have an interest in the Muslim faith? You're not as familiar. There's probably many chatters in corners, perhaps giving you that kind of misconception. The method for really having an understanding and then making that decision to get involved. Tell us how can one who's listening on, it piques your interest. You've been listening to it for some time,
yeah.
But you're wondering, is it that I have to just run on in? Do I get a time period to better understand?
Right.
I want you to speak to our viewers and listeners.
Wonderful. So, Islam, even though Islam is probably the most misunderstood religion in the world, it's the fastest growing religion in the world right now with 1.7 billion Muslims. If you were to, you don't have to think about it, if you just, Google up or check on most of the stars recently, we're talking about prominent stars, Shaquille O'Neal, Mike Tyson, and so many, a lot of them have been accepting Islam. Because when you once really study Islam and they really dig deep into it, they would see Islam is really a beautiful and peaceful religion. No, like another religion, 1.7 billion people, a few people who do acts of terrorism and so on, you don't castigate the entire religion because of these people. In any religion, you'll always find those who have their own interpretation and so on and things. But when you look at Islam in the whole, it's really, really a beautiful religion. Now, for those persons who would like to really know about Islam, they can Google up on the computer. There's tons of information, basic understanding of Islam and so on. Those who are in Tobago, a lot of people contact me because I'm always at the masjid there. My number 680-1414. That people can call me. We have literatures, we have pamphlets. Sometimes we sit with them because people always have an interest. They want to know, and it is very important that you sit with people, and so that they will understand. And people sometimes, as I say, they really have a misunderstanding because of that, the wrong information might spread out there.
Right.
And it's your duty. Okay, let me there's a few things I will share with you this morning, and people might be, I was telling somebody recently, and people might be amazed. As a Muslim, some of your basic beliefs, you must believe in only on one creator. As a Muslim, we believe in the day of judgment. We don't believe heaven and hell is right, or we believe that there's life after that. Because you can't be such a bad person and murdering people, doing so much atrocities and so on, and don't expect to get away scot-free with that. They might get away in this world, but you have to meet the maker one day where you have to account for everything. Also, we believe in Jesus Christ. As a Muslim, you must believe in Jesus Christ. But we believe in Jesus Christ, that he was sent on this earth as a messenger, as a Messiah. We believe in Jesus Christ coming back. We believe in Jesus Christ coming back to fulfill certain prophecies and so on. We believe that Jesus Christ is with Almighty God in heavens. So when people hear this, they say, Jesus is mentioned in the Quran more than Prophet Muhammad. That's how much we revere Jesus, We believe in Abraham, we believe in Moses, we believe in all the prophets. And as I said that, we believe in his coming back. So, people, they do have a lot of questions, so they might ask, they might see something, they mightn't understand. And people are free to call me anytime. As I say, I'm on WhatsApp, they can go Google up my name, and they will see come up for any information. But now, we are so fortunate to have those devices.
Yes.
They could give us everything. And you have some really wonderful scholars who will explain to you, what this religion is about and so many different things. And this is one way and one method. And as I say, anytime, I'm accessible, people can contact me anytime.
Excellent. Thank you so much. And when you get into this conversation, you get so engaged, but we're just out of time this morning. But certainly bringing the information here. And thank you so much for joining us here on set. Camille Ali, Director of the Masjid located in Lowlands, as we speak to the holy month of Ramadan and looking at that very broader perspective and responsibility in terms of, being a faith-based organization, certainly sending a clear signal of working together. And we look forward to other aspects of the society taking on, that similar fashion as we really seek to improve things here in our island, our country, our region, and the world at large. The change and the difference and a positive impact starts with each and every one of us taking that individual responsibility. So once again, viewers, we want to thank you so much, those of you joining us via TV, those listening in on the radio, online with us this morning, Whitfield, Denisha, Godfrey, Darky in the mix this morning, Carol Fraser Davidson, Listra, Belfon, Pearl Murray Beard, thank you so much to each and every one of you, Lisa James, QK Melville, loyal supporters. We thank you so much for continuing to tune in to the Tobago Updates morning show and to remind each and every one of you that this is your opportunity to share the live, share the live, share the live.
This is how it's gonna go. They better look up and look, 'cause this is your show, and everybody's gonna know. Say it to them once again. They better look up and look. This is your show, and everybody's gonna know. That's how it's gonna go. They better look up below, 'cause this is your show. Live more.
Everybody only worrying. Never ever worry. Don't mind how things looking hard. I tell them never ever worry. If your life can't get damaged bad, I tell them never ever worry. What I'm saying is true. So just consider Tatil is always right here for you. I tell them never ever worry. Don't mind if life make you sad. I tell them never ever worry. If your house get flooded out real bad, I tell them never ever worry. What I'm saying is true. So just consider Tatil is always right here for you. I tell them never ever worry. If sickness catch you off guard, I tell them never ever worry. If times fall on you real hard, I tell them never ever worry. What I'm saying is true. So just consider Tatil will always be here for you. Never worry about a thing. Tatil, where people are people. You know what I mean.
MI4 Security Services Company is the most advanced security service in Tobago. Ask about our cash and transit service. It's safe, risk-free, reliable, and timely. We provide safe banking delivery for all business types and sizes with highly trained staff, 24/7 monitoring, coordinated emergency response, and a well-maintained fleet of armored vehicles. Contact us at 660-7723 or visit our website at www.mi4securitytt.com to sign up today.
October will never be better with Tobago Carnival fever. Okay, passage and come on over.
Welcome to Limache Parfait Day Spa, your urban oasis and wellness center. Our services includes massages, treatments, facials, pedicures, weight management, detox programs, and much more. Call us today at 624-1452 or 720-7474. Trinidad locations and Bonacore, Tobago at 273-7772. Let us treat you like the VIP you are.
Put a smile on your face when you're moving from place to place. Good morning.
Welcome back, viewers. It is now 7:55 a.m. and we're almost at the end of this morning's program. But before we go, we do have Mr. Edison Thomas, Marketing Specialist of the Tobago Information Technology Limited, and Mr. Ian Williams, ICT Manager of the Tobago Information Technology Limited as well, TITL. Good morning, gentlemen. How are you doing today?
Good morning. Great to be here.
Lovely. And we are here to talk about 20 years of empowering lives through ICT. Wow.
Yes, TITL, Tobago Information Technology Limited, right, located in Signal Hill. We operate a 2-on-1 contact center, as most of Tobagonians know. We are actually celebrating 20 years this year, June 20th, if I'm not mistaken, in that iteration of TITL. And through that time, we would have made a number of accomplishments on the Tobago space with ICT. So we're here just to discuss a bit of what we were up to over the past 20 years and what is to come over the next 20 years.
Okay, that's really impressive and commendable. So 20 years, let's start from the beginning. So before it became TITL, what was it?
We were a medical transcription service.
Yes.
Right.
So TITL actually started as a medical transcription unit, THA-MTU. All right, and there we'd have partaken in medical transcription, not for foreign entities, in terms of taking that those notes from doctors, etc., the vocals, and transcribing them into written format that can be easily moved. So that was the genesis of TITL at that time.
So I'm very curious, because how do you shift from medical transcription to ICT?
Well, because medical transcription, even if you think of it, that in itself is a technological intervention, even in 2003. Right? And now, as technology, as you know, is very dynamic.
Yes.
With the click of a finger, it always keeps changing, you know. So within the years, we'd have moved from that and segued into one of our main and still our flagship projects, which is the 2-on-1 contact center. All right, and I'm sure that you would utilize the service from time to time.
Yes, I have. I actually have, and I must commend that it is a very forward-thinking and innovative platform, because who has not used the 2-on-1 center and called in to be like, okay, what's your number for KFC? Already at one point in time.
But we are, though, and let me just put that there, we are, though, a lot more than just the numbers.
Okay.
All right. All government services, whether it's divisions, ministries, anything that you want within Tobago, those agents, kind, courteous, and accurate information they deliver that to you. Kudos to the staff.
Yes.
They are 2-on-1.
Big up 2-on-1 staff.
Yeah.
For doing that for so long and at such a high level.
So, when I think about ICT, I think about how we still have a lot to do, and especially knowing we came out of a panini or a pandemic, and realizing that there are lots of gaps when it comes to digital transformation. Is there anything that the ICT has been, is there anything that the TITL has been doing in order to facilitate that resurgence and that education front?
Definitely. So TITL has been doing a lot of work in terms of digital transformation. And just for the benefit of the viewers, digital transformation is more or less using technology to make that intervention in terms of the day-to-day processes we do. All right, and we have done that in terms of a lot of back-end processes now. As a matter of fact, I'll just give you a sneak peek. One of the things that we have on the fringe is I don't know if I can let it out the hat, but I will. We're building something like a help desk in terms of the division of education.
Okay.
Mind you, that's our line division.
Right.
And that division, you know, we're making some interventions there in terms of things. Let's say, one of the first things, for instance, is a help desk for teachers.
Okay.
So you're a teacher, whether it's Scarborough or even Roxborough, answer me, and you need to get a sick leave or a request for something. The age-old process, you dial the division.
Not even that, you go in and you request to sign up a form. Exactly.
Yes.
Yeah, but we're now building this very interactive help desk. When you put these requests in, it goes through back-end workflows with levels of accountabilities where persons have to deal with queries in a certain amount of time, etc. And we've even loaded that with things such as document processing. So if I am the person that has the authority to, just by simply clicking approve and putting my password in, you receive your job letter via email or your approval.
When does that start?
Pretty soon. We have a lot of these
but recently, Brittany, we would have engaged in we did for the Division of Education. We hosted examinations for some screenings that they had.
Okay.
And those exams took place completely online, hosted at TITL. Right. Our training rooms were fully equipped, Wi-Fi, laptops, everything with the software. Yeah, with the software, so that we could have hosted 135 applicants somewhere thereabout with screening processes. So to all the organizations out there, if that is what you are into, training and development as well, examinations and all of that, we are well equipped for that.
Now, interestingly, as you mentioned exams, the Caribbean Examination Council, CXC, they intend to do their exams online, but they have not done all of the shift and all of the necessary requirements to do that kind of transition. So maybe that is a conversation we need to have to see how TITL can take the lead on that.
Yeah, CXC.
Definitely. And I know the division is doing some work now moving to that test, and TITL does have some competence.
Okay, so I also see that there's a lot of focus on professional courses. There's about career development and STEM camps. Tell us about that.
You want to take that one?
Yeah, I'll take that one. All right, so in terms of career development and professional courses, TITL, we are in the business of offering ICT courses. All right, so professional ICT courses to bridge you or bring you into the ICT realm.
Okay.
So we have A+. That is one of the basic, from CompTIA, one of the basic certifications that can bring you into the workplace, let you know how to troubleshoot computers, etc.
Okay.
We have Network Plus. That allows you to be able to troubleshoot networks and connectivity between systems, etc. CCNA. All right, we have a lot of back-end equipment from Cisco. So all of these courses are offered by TITL.
Okay.
And we have cycles starting within 1 month.
Oh, nice.
So I'm using that blog to tell persons that you can reach out via the 211 contact, the country's most reliable contact center.
Which is true.
You can reach out. And we also have on our website, TITL.TT, all those applications where you can make a submission to enter the realm of IT.
Okay.
All right.
So since we talk about entering the realm of IT, because I know for a fact that getting more girls into IT and ICT is a challenge. Are there any initiatives or anything that the TITL has done or encouraged to ensure that there are more women in STEM?
Definitely. TITL has worked with the Telecommunication Authority of Trinidad and Tobago for about 3 years straight, or probably even more, with regards to girls in ICT and that happens next month once again. All right, and we've done a number of initiatives with STEM and bringing young ladies to the facility, showing them the technology, even working remotely with large companies in Trinidad, just breaking that barrier, getting them into this ICT realm.
Okay, I agree
and we've
with
been
you.
playing the part with you guys.
Lovely, and
Not
let me
only
just
that,
say...
let me just plug it.
Okay.
We also have a lot of women working in TITL as a, well, at the moment, our CEO, or acting CEO, Ms. Ruth Campbell.
Lovely.
Right, capable female, she has been taking up the helm while we'll be looking for a
And
new
she also has a
CEO.
background in ICT.
In accounting and ICT, yes.
Lovely,
right?
impressive to her.
And then we have our big up to Candy in solutions analysts, and we have IT tutors and all of that. So that that are there to take the helm up of girls in ICT. So we really embody that in the institution.
Lovely. Let me also big up Brittany. This is one of my good friends, and she is also in ICT.
Yes,
so,
I know that. I know her. Yeah.
So big up to her as well, because it's not a field that you normally see women going into, but she is really good at what she does. So what about future initiatives and collaborations that TITL might have in mind?
Okay. So the thing is, I could let a little bit out of the hat, but in very vague terms.
Okay, don't worry, we can understand.
Right? Well, once again, TIC is coming up, right? Where Tobago goes to Trinidad in Trade and Investment Convention. We show awares. Last year, TITL was front and center. This year, we will be front and center once again, representing the best of ICT in Tobago and helping to also prop up all the rest of small entrepreneurs there. Also, we are currently working on, this is one of the secret ones, a proposal for a division for a platform, an ICT platform. This would be the digital transformation we're talking about. That will more so encompass the public interfacing with that division, as well as international tourists and all of that. So, keyword tourists.
We do have tourists on Trinidad as well, so we can call them visitors. So, since it's 20 years that we're celebrating, and I know you mentioned that it would be in June, so we're kind of launching it since we're here in March.
Yes. Things are in plans. We have a lot of big things planned for that specific month of our celebration. It's a particular point in time that we need to celebrate and mark, right? And we need to also take stock of all the persons that would have got us to this point, right? So we do have a lot of things in plan for that month. You would see Title coming out in a big bold way over Tobago, the Tobago space in that month of June.
All right. And I'm also seeing that there is a link or nexus between technology and health. So what exactly might TITL be doing when it comes to that sphere?
Real quick. So we have the Mobile Emergency Response Alert. We was here on the Tobago Updates Morning Show a few months earlier. I would have been in December talking about that. And what that allows us to do is that we have a system which is enabled by a device, a small handheld device. We should have bring one in. A small handheld device that you can have on your person that alerts, that gives you 24/7 access to emergency services, right? At the push of a button, or it has fall detection. When you fall, it could sense that there was a fall that occurred, and it would send out an alert to our contact center in Signal Hill. We will speak to you through the device itself, all right? And from there, we could guide you. You can guide us through what emergency had taken place, and we will know which emergency service to dispatch to help you at that point in time.
No, I can definitely see that working for especially our more elderly, our more elderly citizens, especially knowing that if they might have any health complications, then that would definitely be of use and value to them as well.
Yes.
And one thing with that device also, we're bombarded at this point with a lot of requests from Trinidad.
Oh, really?
So we actually doing now in the process of moving to that market as there's a high demand in terms of Trinidad, persons wanting that companion device for persons alone, elderly persons.
Yes, yeah.
You know, the more vulnerable.
Agreed. And not only just elderly, because if someone is younger, they might have health complications.
Yeah,
that is also
definitely.
good, especially with school children. So that is definitely something we should look into.
Yeah.
So before we wrap up, is there anything else that we need to know about the TITL? Like, what is a typical day at work for you? And both of you can go.
Well, for us, because we hold solely different portfolios, I could speak for myself, he will speak for himself. My typical day, I manage all the channels, all of the marketing channels that Title has, digital and mainstream.
Right.
All right. So, if any correspondence that you will see coming from Title, all the social media channels I run, if you see a video, videos from where we did career fairs and all of that, that would have been produced and filmed and edited by me. Kind of one man kind of Swiss Army knife, Swiss Army knife kind of thing. All right, so that would have been me and my team would have worked on that. Right, so that's my daily.
And Ian?
Well, you ready for the exciting part? Yeah. So my days more or less, you know, I have a very high performance team, I must say, interfacing with servers, all the back-end stuff that when you dial 211, you can get it, keeping websites up and going. And apart from that, we do a lot in terms of now special projects for different divisions and entities in Tobago.
Okay.
Just coming in, finding out what you do, and creating solutions to make your life easier.
Lovely.
And I think that is the most fun part of what I do as an IT person.
Right.
Yeah, so it's making that digital intervention into persons, and we look forward, TITL turning 20 and beyond, to being that driver in terms of carrying Tobago through that digital transformation process.
Sounds really good. So Ian, Edison, thank you so much for joining us here this morning at Tobago Updates, and we look forward to see how else TITL contributes to the empowerment of Tobago society. And viewers, this has been an amazing show this morning. Before we go, we will be having Tobago Notes by the Information Division, and of course, we'll be over to GMT. You have been watching Good Morning Tobago with Tobago Updates, and it has been a pleasure with you. Thank you.
The THA is preparing for the implementation of the National Policy on Sexual Harassment in the Workplace. In doing so, HR managers, officers, and supervisors from both the public and private sectors participating in a seminar hosted by the Department of Labor.
Public-private partnerships has to be established to build capacity and increase resources, especially when considering how diverse the island of Tobago has now become. This partnership plays a pivotal role in generating, transferring knowledge to all people, employees, employers, and students.
By the time we get to 18, 20, 30, 40, 50, it is even more difficult to understand that consent is something that can be given, and consent is something that can be taken away, even in the midst of it.
We have had all of this in it. Females usually sexually harass men, and you know we all laugh about it. I experienced that on one of my workplaces. If you're having a consensual relationship and somebody broke it off, you cannot now come and claim that the person sexually harassed you, because it was welcome and it was reciprocated. So it's not sexual harassment. When the act is assented to, there will be some definite responsibilities that the employer will be mandated to do within a specified time frame, right? So you have to formulate a written policy statement against sexual harassment within the workplace. Bring the policy statement to the attention of every member of staff.
The seminar was hosted at the Magdalena Grand Beach and Golf Resort.
That was a production of the Department of Information, Office of the Chief Secretary, Tobago House of Assembly.
Yeah. Hey. Tobago updates. Good morning, Tobago.
Good morning, and welcome to Good Morning Tobago right here on Tobago Updates. Guys, you know, whenever you see me sitting here, it's because we're having those conversations that you want to have and asking those questions that you want to know. Now, this morning is no different, and we're kicking off this morning by talking a bit about what's happening in the Down syndrome community. As you know, we have recently celebrated Down Syndrome Awareness Day, and we had a great time coming out on Tuesday with our socks and, you know, doing all of that to raise awareness. But this morning, we're talking about what's really happening to impact change, to bring awareness to the community and give as much assistance to the development of this community as is possible. And to have that conversation with me this morning, I have the privilege of sitting with the founder and the chairman of the Down Syndrome Family Network, Mr. Fitzherbert Glenn Niles. Good morning, sir. How are you doing?
Morning, Cheryl.
And sitting with him this morning, as well as the executive director of the National Down Syndrome Congress, Mr. Jordan Coe. And so we just want to thank you guys for coming in this morning and chatting a bit with us. As I said previously in my opening, we have seen a lot of awareness happening throughout this week, but it's about going beyond simply awareness or just wearing a socks or just talking about it, the actions that we portray in order to really help to develop this community. And this year we heard a lot about planning development and moving forward with us and not for us, and talking about the level of independence that members of this Down syndrome community is looking for in relation to being a part of policy decision, just generally being included. And when we talk about inclusivity, whether it be corporate inclusivity or in education, we're talking about opening up sectors to allow for the inclusion of different individuals from different backgrounds, and members of the Down syndrome community is no different. So Mr. Fitzherbert, this morning you are here from the Down Syndrome Family Network, and this is located in Trinidad and Tobago, right?
Yep.
Right,
Trinidad and
and
Tobago.
right, local grown. And Mr. Coe, your organization is straight out of the United States. So tell me a bit about how this relationship started.
Okay, all right. Well, I love your beginning, Chanel. I mean, you hit all the points that the Down Syndrome Family Network that we were founded on, all the basics that we were founded on, which is all about inclusion of persons with Down syndrome and, of course, other disabilities. Because we can't separate disabilities. And my first interaction with someone with Down syndrome really is when my son was born. And, you know, at that time, I didn't know anything. I needed to find information. I couldn't get the kind of information that I wanted. Because I didn't, staying in Trinidad and Tobago, I thought his future would have been I had to take care of him for the rest of his life until he died or until I died. But I needed to know more than that. So I started looking externally, and I came across the National Down Syndrome Congress based in Atlanta and the National Down Syndrome Society based in New York, and I became affiliated with these organizations. But the catalyst was when I attended the National Down Syndrome Congress. They have an international conference. I keep telling them they had to change the name because they had an international conference, and they have it every year. And I attended this conference, and it was the first time in my life I saw so many people with Down syndrome in one place. Because I know here we hide them away, they're special, we are ashamed of them, right? They were all out there at the conference, coming into the hotel. I mean, back then it was about 2007, 2008. And the conference had over 3,000 attendees. And a large percentage of this were people with Down syndrome. And then as it was every year, it was like a reunion for them. So imagine me coming from Trinidad and Tobago, where I don't see people with Down syndrome, to seeing a lot of young adults, children, and even elderly people with Down syndrome coming into this hotel lobby, going, checking in. Those who come with their parents after they check in and the parents take the bags to go up to the room, they left with their friends with Down syndrome to go and hang out in the hotel, walking out the hotel, going out in the street. So I'm like looking at them, like staring in shock. I want to know who going with them, who holding their hand to cross the street. You know, how they could just walk out by themselves. I couldn't relate to that. So, you know, my jaw was on the ground for most of the time. Even attending the presentations, the feature presentation was given by a self-advocate. And I didn't know what that meant. So I'm like, okay, go to see. Saw this guy going up, and he opened up his laptop. I find he kind of short and thick, and I'm watching, he have a short neck, so I'm like, who is this guy? When he turned around, the camera put him up on the big screen. He had Down syndrome. So I'm like, he's going to do a PowerPoint presentation. And he did. He spoke very well. I could understand everything he said, and spoke about his life, his schooling, and what brought him to this point. He was employed. And I was like, but he has Down syndrome. I still couldn't understand that. So how come I am meeting these people with Down syndrome like this, but back home, people with Down syndrome can't do anything? And that's when I realized it's basically because of that inclusivity, that inclusive educational system, one, and that translates to a more inclusive society. So, you know, that cemented my relationship with the National Down Syndrome Congress.
Right.
And when I came back and I got together with 4 other parents and we formed the Down Syndrome Family Network, we actually had the president of the National Down Syndrome Congress come to our launch on the 21st of March in 2012. That was James Faber at the time. He and the Latin American, the director in charge of Latin America and the Caribbean, yeah, they both attended our launch in Trinidad when the network was launched. So our relationship started from inception and has grown stronger since then.
And Mr. Cole, tell us a bit about the reach of your of the Congress and the type of work that you guys really do.
Yeah, absolutely. Our convention is our major moment, as Glenn was talking about. We have about 5,000 people now that attend that. We're going to be in Orlando this year from July 20th to July 23rd. We're hoping to have 6,000 or 7,000 people this year. We opened registration on World Down Syndrome Day on Tuesday, and we had 1,600 people register that day. And so our goal is to really do a lot of international outreach and to help groups just like we're seeing here in Trinidad and Tobago really reach out in these inclusive ways, identify ways we can work with teachers, where we can work with the programs to train the self-advocates to go and take meetings themselves, so to go and meet with employers or to go and meet with government officials, talk about why laws are important, talk to their school districts about why inclusion is important. You know, what we know is that getting inclusion and getting access for families is how we change their lives. We show them their ability to be employed, their ability to be part of the community.
Right. And so at the convention, what you guys usually do is training and empowerment?
Yeah, we do a little bit of everything at the conventions. We do a lot in 4 days. We have a specific conference that is just for individuals with Down syndrome that are 15 years or older. And they go through probably about 40 different workshops where they learn from each other. So half of those workshops are run by other self-advocates. They teach them about how they applied for jobs, what they're doing at school. Some of them are in college programs and what those are like. We have a college fair. We have a job fair. We have another 150 workshops for parents. We have a training session for teachers. We teach people how to work on policy and go and advocate for changing legislation in their states and federally. So we have all kinds of things that go on that day. We have dances, we have runs, we focus on health. We have a whole medical interest group that comes. So about 150 of the leading doctors in the United States come into our conference as well. And so it's a tremendous experience for families like Glenn's or others that can come in to be able to just sit down with, you know, 1 or the 2 or 3 best doctors in the world that know about issues related to Down syndrome, and just be able to have lunch with them and to say, hey, this is the experience I'm having. How can I learn more? How can I help? What can I take home to my country and share with others?
Wow, and that is excellent. Question, accessibility to these conferences for the average person, the average family, how accessible is it? Is it that you guys ever offered scholarships or funding? that is in place to ensure that there's equity in regards to access to the conference?
Absolutely. Well, we're really looking at trying to create more access, but this year we set aside $25,000 in scholarships for international or non-English speaking attendees. So whether that's someone that doesn't speak English within our country, but then also outside the country as well. So looking at the Caribbean, looking in Central and South America are big areas where we know there are there's a lot of work to be done on inclusion, and so we want to bring them there. And so we actually set aside more money for international scholarships than domestic scholarships in the United States.
Wow, and that is important, especially for developing countries like Trinidad and Tobago, especially seeing that we have not reached where we want to be in regards to care for Down syndrome society, as well as education level, access to jobs, inclusion, and and the availability of a number of resources. So is it that the Down Syndrome Family Network does their part to raise awareness of the availability of these scholarships to allow for all types of families to have access to having that same experience that you had when you were basically flabbergasted by being exposed to the level of advancement that members of the Down Syndrome Society had?
Okay, so the most work that we do is lobbying for human rights. Because as you mentioned, we are so far behind with getting to even a point where persons with Down syndrome can be included in anything. First, they are segregated from birth. As soon as they are born, you look at them, they are special, they are sent to a special school. After that, they are never integrated into society. So we never see them, we never get to know them, they never interact with society. So we even have people that don't even know the difference between Down syndrome and autism. Because as far as they are concerned, they don't see people with Down syndrome, they don't see people with autism, and they just lump the two together, and they are both distinct intellectual disabilities. So with the Down Syndrome Family Network, besides that, we have our own conference in Trinidad and in Tobago, and we also have quarterly workshops as well, where we bring people from the community together. And this is the other misconception, is that our conferences and the workshops are for people with children with disabilities alone. And that is not so. It's for everyone. It's for the public, it's for the professionals in the healthcare system, of course, education, persons doing social work, and really the general public, because that is how we have to create that awareness. Because people, it's difficult to lobby for a segment of the population that nobody knows. You don't see them. So that, you know what they say, once you don't see something, you don't care about it, right? So the first thing we do with having that strong charity model towards persons with disabilities, the first thing we want to do is give money to them and take care of them. So we don't think about inclusion because we don't think that they can be included. It even starts in the home. They are not included in the home. Parents treat them special. They take care of them. They don't allow them to do things because you don't want them to get hurt. And you actually feel you're helping them. And I was one of those parents. I thought I was helping my son by doing everything for him, but I was actually hindering his progress. When I couldn't get him into a school, and I just put my tail between my leg and walk away, when they said, no, carry him to a special school. And that was the worst thing I could have done for him, instead of fighting against that and getting him into the regular school, which is what should have happened. Because according to the Act, he should be allowed to go in that school in his catchment area. No child left behind. But it doesn't happen because nobody challenges it. So we have started as the network by lobbying for their human rights. We have started challenging it. And now we do have children attending the regular schools. Not in the volume that they should, because we are still working on getting national legislation for persons with disabilities, that will enforce that. But at least some schools have decided to take in children, and we actually have one student who will be sitting SCA this year. So we're hoping that she will be the first person with Down syndrome to attend secondary school. Now, with regard to the conference, as we are an NGO, so we don't have all that funding, so we let people know about the conferences and try to encourage them to attend. But as I said, it's difficult for them to even start attending ours, because people are still stuck in that old paradigm where they're still ashamed of their child. They don't bring them out in the community. So, to bring them out to a conference, even worse. They're not coming. Even when we try to get the parents to attend, okay, your child is in school, try and attend. They don't take the time off. In Trinidad, and we actually have more parents attending in Tobago, which is a good sign, and as well as getting teachers to attend. Because the main thing with the conference is every year we bring down someone with Down syndrome who is very accomplished, just to show parents where your child could be if you empower them and if you don't hinder them, if you don't set your limits on them by thinking what you think they can do and instead presume competence and allow them to try. Opportunity. They always say opportunities reveal potential. Like, I can't tell what you'll be able to do. Only when you try, then you could show me, right? So our guest speaker at this year's conference is Monica Myers. She's 14 years old. She's from Toronto, Canada, and she's a runway model. She skis, she does figure skating, and she does everything else that any average 14-year-old does. And that was my experience with meeting people like that when I attended the National Down Syndrome Congress Conference. I went out to dinner with self-advocates, and at the time the Democratic election in the US was coming up, and they were discussing Hillary's principles against Obama's principles. And that was incredible for me. Yeah. I mean, they knew exactly everything about what they spoke towards disability legislation and policies, and they were debating on it. And I was sitting at that table as the only person without Down syndrome, sitting in that restaurant, and I'm just staring at them, trying not to stare, of course. But you can imagine how I felt.
Yes.
These are people with Down syndrome discussing the Democratic elections in the US. I mean, like, seriously. And back home, what are they? Special, and they can't do anything. It's almost like so why is that? And the main reason is that integration. Because if you're not educated, you cannot be integrated. And once we separate them from the school system, that's it.
Definitely. And so how has that advocacy been going for you guys? Have you been advocating for that here in Tobago as well as in Trinidad for young persons with Down syndrome to get into regular schools? How has it been? Like, how has the increase in uptake been since the advocacy has begun, since you started the network?
Very slowly, but it has been taking root because we've had conversations, with the THA, with all the secretaries of education coming forward. We had a little setback, but everything changed, once a new administration comes in. But we've developed partnerships with the Secretary of Education in the division now, and we've continued that partnership with the Tobago House of Assembly, and they are on board because they understood the need. In the beginning, everybody was at the same mindset. It's kind of difficult to change society when you've been doing something for a number of years. What they say about common law, right? You think that that's the right way, that's the only way, until you begin to think, okay, let's try another way. Let's try something differently. So we are in serious conversations with them. As you see, the secretary of the division is supposed to be speaking at the conference, and she spoke last year. So we have a full partnership with them to work towards that inclusive education. Now, a lot of people feel a little threatened by us because they think, okay, well, if children are included, well, what happens to the special schools? What happened to the special ed teachers? Will they be out of a job? No, they won't be. Because everybody would not be able to be integrated. There must be some kind of assessment. But we don't want that blanket approach where everybody with a disability has to go here and we box them away. That will never cause us to produce self-advocates like Monica Myers and all the others that we've brought down before.
Right. And so this morning is when the conference is happening at the Shaw Park Cultural Complex. So tell us a little bit about that. It's starting at 9 a.m. this morning. So
Yes.
to tell parents how... So students are also invited. We are inviting members of the Down Syndrome Society as well as parents, teachers, just members of society.
It's primarily for the public, for professionals, caregivers. We have all the different therapists because we always have professional speakers coming down. So we have, well, we see, on the flyer, there's the chief sec of the THA, Dr. Israel. We have Assemblyman Zorisha Hackett, from Tobago, and we also have other speakers. Well, we have Mr. Koo here and Monica Myers. So it is a professional conference, and it is not only for persons who have children with Down syndrome or some disability. It's for the public. We have to be interested in disability affairs. I talk to people and I say, hey, the government is drafting national legislation on persons with disabilities. I remember when they were doing the national policy on persons with disabilities and they put out for public consultation, it wasn't very heavily attended. You only saw like stakeholders from the disabled community. And I'm like, no, this is wrong. You as the public should be interested in what is happening to other citizens with disabilities, because you can become disabled through illness, injury, or once you get old enough. Like even with me, people look at me and they say, oh, he looks strong and robust. I have lower back issues, my knee issues from all very active lifestyle when I was young. Right? So disability issues should impact on all of us and we should be interested. So when we see the government is putting out for public consultation on national legislation for persons with disabilities, please attend. When you see conferences like this pertaining to the rights of persons with disabilities, please attend.
Right. And so as we wrap up our interview this morning, Mr. Cole, tell us why it was important for you to make the journey to Trinidad and Tobago to be a part of this conference, and what are some of the resources or ideologies that you plan to share with members of the public today during that conference?
Yeah, absolutely. Well, we wanted to be here to stand in solidarity with our partners, that this is an important program going on here. There's a lot of work to be done in Trinidad. There's a lot of work to be done in the United States still. And so if we want to be a leader in the world of inclusion and showing what we need to do in education and access, we need to make sure that we're present all across the world. And if we're inviting people to our convention, we've got to be here to do it in person. For us, it's really taking all the lessons that we learn at convention, taking all of the lessons that are shared from family to family, from expert to family, et cetera, and turning those into things that can be shared in workshops. We've talked with the Down Syndrome Family Network here about doing a training online, of working with their self-advocates about how they can go to their local political officials and how they can work with them to get laws changed and how to get things passed. And so finding new ways to partner in the ways that can help change the laws here, change inclusion here, change access here. It's important to us in Trinidad, everywhere across the world, and in the United States.
Thank you so much. And so I want to give you the opportunity again, before you leave, to really encourage people to come out this morning to the Shaw Park Cultural Complex at 9 a.m. and participate. So right before we close off our interview, go ahead and tell people why it's really important for them to really be here this morning.
It is, as I said, you always hear the saying, we are our brother's keeper. But are we actually our brother's keeper if we continue segregating them, if we continue hiding them away, if we continue being ashamed of them, and if we keep hindering their progress? So instead of, let us forget everything we've learned before, right? All that academic qualifications and experience before, let us forget that. And let us try and turn a new page, and let us try and presume competence. Don't limit anybody with your preconceived limits. Forget about the years in special ed, the years in regular education system where, oh, we can't teach them children. Forget that. Let's try and teach them. Stop looking at the problems. Everybody say, if you put them in the school, they'll get bullied, they'll get this, the teacher's not trained. No, let's fix the problems. Let's use all that education and experience to be more solutions-oriented. So instead of focusing on the problems, if we focus on the solutions, we will get way better results.
All right, thank you so much, guys. And you heard it here. So this morning, with the Down Syndrome Family Network would be having that conference at the Shaw Park Cultural Complex, and it's starting at 9 a.m. So make sure to make your way over there if you know anyone that's interested in being there. If you can take the time out to be there, be sure to join in solidarity for inclusivity, where education is concerned, inclusion in corporate affairs, and just overall decision making. Guys, we're going to take a quick break and we'll be back with more conversation. See you right after this break.
the skies. I say thanks for favor to wake up and hear my neighbor. 60,000 people strong, and the vibes is never wrong.
Tobago, it's time to go. Sweet like
Tobago, here's the real deal. Nothing sweeter than when your internet fast all day, every day. I telling you, it's real nice when your home internet and TV package fit your budget. Well, if that's what you want, you're safe with Digicel Plus. Sign up or switch to Digicel Plus now and pay $0 for 1 month. Plus, plans start as low as $199 and you get installed for free. Visit digiceltt.com or a Digicel store now.
Tobago updates. Good morning, Tobago. Wake up with Candace and Denasia.
Good morning again, and welcome back to Good Morning Tobago right here on Tobago Updates. Guys, we're getting into further conversation this morning, and as a part of that, I have the privilege of sitting with Mrs. Denisha Jones. And this morning we're chatting a bit about home gardening, something that a lot of us like getting into in our free time, but something that most of us don't really see the need for, as we often go to the market on our weekends and make that a part of our weekly schedule. Or just when we're at the grocery, we make sure to pick up those fresh produce that we usually use. But for when we talk about food security and the need for individuals to take part in that, we're talking about home gardening and that sustainable lifestyle. And this morning, we have Mrs. Jones with us, and you are from the Division of Agriculture from the Home Gardening Unit. Tell us a bit more about your unit, as a number of persons don't really know that the unit exists. Tell us a bit about the unit.
Okay, so good morning to you, good morning to the viewers. So the Home Gardening Unit, we basically encourage home gardeners into agricultural production. We know persons consider it to be a demeaning field, to be heavy work, but it is something that can be relaxing, something that, you know, you can de-stress, and we try to provide that avenue for home gardeners. We encourage them through training. We assist them by establishing their gardens. Of course, first preference will go to the elderly persons. We work along with the schools. Hopefully we can be able to do some tours to some mother gardeners so that home gardeners will be able to see different techniques.
Okay, so is it that you send professionals out to persons' home gardens to see what they're doing and help them to enhance their production, or is it that you guys host workshops and conferences where you invite home gardeners to be a part of it?
Okay, so it's a bit of a both. So it's a team. We have 2 field officers, and I would like to mention them, Kodimo and Araljan, and 2 laborers attached, Samantha Buffett and OJ. So we actually go out and establish the gardens. So they would do all the land prep. They will assist with planting out everything, weeding. If persons need assistance with getting manure, we will provide that as well. So we start them up. Of course, able-bodied persons like ourselves, yes, we would get more of a demonstration. So we would start, and follow-up visits will be done, yes, where we'd guide you with advice and so forth. But with the elderly persons, from time to time, we would actually go and assist them with starting over, if anything.
Okay, excellent. So how can someone get connected to the division for you to even know that they are interested in having a home garden, or if they have a home garden that they feel like it's really not successful at all, you know, they find themselves losing crops on a monthly basis, something just is off, and as much as they try their own self-education, it can only go so far. So tell us how people can get connected.
Okay, so we have a home gardening page and an Instagram page, also a YouTube channel, Home Gardening Initiative. They can also email us at homegardeninginitiative@life.com, and there's also a hotline number, 639-4616, that they can contact us. We work along with the plant protection unit. So if persons have issues with pest and disease, they can also contact us, send photos. Well, there's also a WhatsApp chat, but it's a bit full at the moment. But they can, if anything, send us emails, photos of the problems, and we will get the necessary advice and recommendations.
Right, and you also indicated that you guys offer training and courses as well. So you do the workshop, the training and courses, in addition to visiting persons' home garden.
Right.
Tell us a bit about the courses and when it starts, and how can persons get involved?
So the first course we will be having it starts on April 6th. That is all about herbs. It's going to end on November 16th. The last course will be pest and disease management. In October, the unit's contribution towards the activities will be doing a training session on hydroponics, as we know that home gardeners are interested in that. It will be our first face-to-face training session that we'll be conducting. 2 of it will be online, but 2 days would be face-to-face sessions where persons would actually get that practical experience.
And I'm assuming that because of this, there's now a community that has been created. You spoke a bit about having a WhatsApp group. So tell us a bit about that home gardeners community or association that has been created. Why is it important for persons to find themselves being a part of these type of communities?
Okay, so the home garden chat, currently it's 137 persons on it. It's active. We encourage home gardeners where whenever they harvest a produce, they can post it. There's a bit of a bartering occurring where if anybody happen to get extra seedlings, they would share their produce. Every morning from Monday to Friday, I will provide tips on different aspects in regards to crops. So, daily they get that sort of encouragement.
Right, and so talk to us about the education aspect of it. So you guys have that training set up, but you spoke about the need for getting down into the schools, even from the primary school level. When you talk about getting down to the primary school level, is it for the skills aspect of it, or is it more focused on changing attitudes towards agriculture and gardening? Talk to us about that.
Well, it's both actually. Now, the Division of Education, they provided that they wanted to get into innovation. I believe through us contributing by distributing the smart watering systems. And when I say smart, I want to clarify that because I know the secondary school students, they've been asking us if it's something that can operate via an app from a phone. It is not that smart, but it waters on its own. It's easy to mount. It's a pretty simple system. But in regards to bringing that innovation, we are trying for students to be able to see the different gardening techniques so that they can make that comparison between that self-watering system and the conventional gardening. And I know at that age, especially primary school children, they will look at agriculture as being a demeaning thing. So, bringing all these sorts of systems allow them to see innovation, to see that there's a difference, and hopefully can encourage them, because I know that schools will do career days and everybody wants to be a doctor and everybody wants to be an attorney and all these things, and parents want that. That is great. But agriculture is the backbone of life. If you don't have farmers, we don't have food. Right. And then what's going to happen?
And even in addition to them being lawyers and doctors and nurses and communications professionals, they can still have their gardens at home, for that food security, safety, and sustainability. Correct. And their contribution to society. So I want to thank you so much for coming. But before you go, tell the people more about the courses and the fact that it's not just for persons who already have a garden, but if you want to start up a garden, you can also attend and get the education, where they can register for the courses and all of that.
Okay, so we have topics all about herbs, starting a home garden, vegetable management, growing passion fruit, starting a nursery, how to grow tomatoes. We have hydroponics, pest and disease management. There's a link that is attached to our post on the Facebook page. It's also on the division space page. Home gardeners can click on that and they will be able to register. Currently, we have 641 registered persons. I know that the platform can hold about 100. Why we didn't close it off is because we've observed that from time to time when persons try to get into sessions and they lock it off, they're disappointed and there isn't no way for them to receive the information. What this will do by us leaving it open, that even though they didn't get into the session on that day, the recordings and information will be shared. So once they go on our Facebook page, Home Gardening Initiative, they will get the link there or on the divisions page as well. So we are hoping that, they would still continue.
So is it that this is going to be hosted on the Zoom platform? It's virtual, right?
Yes, it's virtual.
Right, and it's going to be hosted on Zoom platform?
On Jitsi.
On Jitsi, okay. Is that because of safety, security reasons? Because I would think that if we have so much persons registered that we would try to move to a platform that can accommodate everyone.
Well, I am not all that tech savvy. It's the link, and I know some platforms you have to pay for it. And because it's the division, but I'm going to have that conversation in regards to IT, what platform we can use so that we can accommodate more persons. But just in case, once they register, we will get their email addresses so that we can always forward the information to them.
Right, and I know that with the government emails, which is .gov.tt, that also comes with Microsoft Access, which has Teams connected to it, which has unlimited access to how much people can enter a Teams meeting. So that's something that you might be able to look into as well. So just to allow for the inclusivity as much person as possible.
And I just want to quickly take the opportunity to say that on the 6th of April, that we will be in the market, Scarborough Market, along with the marketing department. We'll be distributing free seedlings to persons there. So we are hoping that they will come up because they don't have a lot on that day with B-Mobile and ADB and so forth distributing stuff. So I'm hoping that persons come out. I just want to remind them to bring a box to collect your planting materials.
Okay, excellent. Thank you so much for being here. And we are excited to see all that is happening at the home gardening unit at the Division of Agriculture. So again, Mrs. Jones, thank you for taking the time out to be here with us this morning. Guys, we're going to take a quick break and we'll be back with much more. See you after the break.
It's a brand new morning, rise up to a brand new dawning as the passion start to rise. The energy fill the skies. I say thanks for favor to wake up and hear my neighbor. 60,000 people strong and the vibes is never wrong.
This is how it's gonna go. They better look up and look, 'cause this is your show. them once again. They better look out below. This is your show, and everybody's gonna know. That's how it's gonna go. They better look out below, 'cause this is your show.
You can now get whatever you need whenever you need it anywhere in Tobago with Tobago. Your meals, medication, groceries, and shopping all delivered directly to you. No more hassle, no more stress. Get the Tobago app today on Google Play or Apple App Store.
That's TAPPOGO, and let us deliver to you.
Check our website at www.tapogo.app or call the experts at 494-TOGO and 484-4746. Tobago. Relax. We will get it to you. Tobago's at your service.
October will never be better with Tobago Carnival fever. Okay, passage and come on over.
Yeah. Hey. Tobago updates. Good morning, Tobago.
Good morning again, and welcome back to Good Morning Tobago right here on Tobago Updates. And guys, as we wrap things up this morning, we're wrapping up with a bit of a vibe. You may or may not know that the Soca Warriors would be playing right here in Tobago at the Dwight York Stadium, and they are going to be playing against Nicaragua on the 27th, which is Monday night. Now, this is going to be one like no other, and this morning, I have the privilege of speaking with Mr. Sean Anthony. Good morning, sir. How are you doing?
Good morning, good morning.
And he is the manager of the Jade Monkey All-Inclusive Warriors Zone, right? But you are also the manager of Jade Monkey Bar and Restaurant down there in Crown Point. One of the popular liming spots here on the island of Tobago. And so when we talk about the all-inclusive Warrior Zone, you guys are kind of bringing a new, different vibe and element to the football.
Correct,
so,
yes.
Talk to us about what we can expect.
Well, good morning, Tobago, and of course, the wider world. Of course, we got the opportunity, the phone call from the TTFA about doing this, and I was excited. At first, I didn't understand what they asked me, but after when I did my research, I realized it's like a Trinity posse or a Carry posse in the Oval. Where I say, I want me to bring a vibe to the Dwight York Stadium, a big game, Jade Monkey, and I was like overwhelmed. I was like, yes, we're going to do it. All right?
Right, so this means that you guys will be bringing the rhythm, you're bringing the vibes, you're bringing the drinks, you're bringing the food. And so tell us what is included in this all-inclusive zone, Warrior Zone package.
All right, so we will be on the uncovered section. If you are facing the field in the covered section, we are to immediate right. That whole section there, that's where we'll be. Own washrooms, own entrance, all-inclusive drinks, food can done, drinks can done, vibes. Tobago Rhythm section is going to be in the building. We're also going to have performance by Iba, the Neil Boss George. We're also going to have performance by Ding Dong. And it's going to be a party in the stadium.
All right, wow. So is it that we're going to have the stars over in the all-inclusive section, and the persons that are in this kind of VIP sections are going to kind of have that close-up and personal with them, or are the performances going to be for the entire game?
No, just up close and personal. They paid for that. They paid for that closeness with the artists and the and live entertainment.
Right, and talk to us about some of the sponsors that are on board.
Of course.
With you for this all-inclusive Warrior Zone.
Of course, I must give big ups to Digicel for coming on board. Ms. Rowena Cooks and the entire team. I mean, we thank you very much. Stag, definitely on board. Of course, Jade Monkey Casino and Jade Monkey Bar on board. And that's basically, I mean, it's the first time, so we didn't want to do too much, but there are more games coming around, and we are definitely going to be having, I guess, a more also Tobago presence also in this. A lot of people been calling about tickets and what they're getting for the packages. It's a $500 package, which includes your tickets. And today we're going to post on our Instagram and our Facebook pages your menu, so you'll see what you're getting for your money.
Right. Because to me, I am looking forward to the food. Right. I'm trying to figure out what we're gonna eat up there when we get there. Right. So you say you have food and drinks included, live performances, private entrance, and you don't have to worry about that long rush lines to get to the bathroom during the games, during the break, because there are private washrooms for persons that are in that area.
In that area, that's right. Right. In that area, you have your washroom. You have. It was made for Jade Monkey, put it that way.
Right. And we know Jade Monkey is kind of like the party central on the island.
Yes.
But tell us about the family friendliness of this area. Because we have persons coming out to watch the game, but most likely they're coming out with the whole family.
Correct.
So tell us a bit about that.
And that's where the all-inclusive setting comes in, where you can actually choose your spot. It's a seating for about 1,000 people. Right, so you can come in there, choose your spot, and have your family, and not just segregated, but in their own space, and still enjoy the game, of course, and of course enjoy the entertainment, the food. Of course, we have drinks. We have kids. We have the drinks for the kids also, the soft drink, water, and that kind of stuff.
All right, tell us about accessibility for the kids. If you have two parents, they're both paying $500 each for a ticket, do they also have to pay for the kids as well?
The kids will be half price.
Okay.
The kids will be half price because sometimes the kids eat more than the parents.
Right. So that means because you're providing food and you're providing drinks, $250 would be for the kids. Okay, that's totally understood. Yeah. And so we're looking forward to bringing a new vibes to the football, a new energy, something that Tobagonians are not necessarily used to.
Correct.
Tell them why they should definitely go with the package as opposed to just buying a regular ticket and going into the stadium.
Well, first thing, I mean, instead of getting up, I have to walk all this way to go to the bar. I mean, to the other bars. Everything is at your disposal, right? Everything is there for you. And we're talking about premium drinks and Jade Monkey. I'm thinking of premium. I'm not talking about just one drink or two. Premium. The foods is going to be out of this world, right?
Okay.
One thing I want to mention also too, you can come to Jade Monkey by 5 o'clock and get a shuttle from Jade Monkey to the game and back to Jade Monkey for an after party. So there's a party after the party.
Right. Okay, so I guess that's for the true Jade Monkey supporters.
Correct.
They know how the vibe go.
Yes.
Right after the game, back down to Jade Monkey.
Back down and continue. Correct.
Right. And so talk about times. We're talking about kicking off at 8 p.m., but the gates are open at 6.
Correct.
So is it that in the VIP section, it's important for members to get there as early as possible?
Enjoy.
You want to start eating before the game starts because you don't want the game to be going on. And you're now looking for food. You're now looking for drinks. So you come, you settle in, you pick your spot.
Correct.
You sit down, you organize yourself with your whole crew, and you just really relax yourself until the game starts.
Yes.
Okay, and so we are expecting to also kind of open this up to tourists that are on the island.
Of
and
course.
we want this to also reflect the Tobago product, what we're offering here in Tobago. Tell us a bit about how you've been really marketing to even the domestic tourists that are on the island at this time. Talk to us about that. Is this something that has been sent out to the hotels for them to invite their guests to come out and be a part of it? Because you said that you're providing shuttles.
Yes.
So it is easier for them to access by coming down to Jade Monkey. You have a number of guest houses right down in that compound area. As much tourists as you can, take them up. Talk to us about that.
Well, we already sent out some circulations to some of the hotels in the area. I mean, we won't be able to hit all, but we have sent out some, and of course let them know of the tourists or the guests that we have a shuttle. I will take you to the game safely and bring you back safely, of course. All right, and the hotels really like that. We also have the Jade Monkey bus for persons who may be stragglers that miss. So we have a backup just in case they miss. All right. So the shuttle came on late in terms of mentioning it, but I think a lot of people are calling out to really find out if we have shuttle service. So that's a good thing that people are calling now. So that means, they don't want to drive. They want to be able to start the vibes at Jade Monkey, continue the vibes on the bus, and then we'll be at the stadium, enjoy that whole experience that we're going to bring to you at the game.
Right. And so we really look forward to seeing the tourists there.
Oh, yes.
Because we want them to be a part of it, right?
Correct.
So if the gates are opening at Shaw Park at 6 p.m. At Dwight York Stadium at 6 p.m. Tell us what time the shuttles would be leaving Jade Monkey.
The first shuttle will be leaving Jade Monkey at 5 o'clock, right? We cannot calculate the time. It's about a 15-minute, 20-minute drive. Right, we have about, I think it's 4 maxi taxis we have, and of course they're going to be dispatched, accordingly. So and it's going to be a frequent ride.
All right, excellent. And so as we close off this morning, tell the people how they can get those tickets. I know it's available at the Jade Monkey Casino as well as the bar. Tell the people how they can.
All right, so tickets could be you can get tickets on at Jade Monkey Bar, Jade Monkey Casino. Also at Barcode, Pablo Supermarket, Happy Place Restaurant in Kambi. Well, or you could call me also. The number to call is 266-6626. That's 266-6626. Give us a call. We'll bring it to you if you want also. We'll also bring it to you.
All right. Well, I'm already here, so you can give me mine right now.
Some people have been asking also, $500, is that just for the package? The $500 includes your ticket.
Right.
So it includes the ticket and of course the all the food and drinks and everything. So yes.
All right.
Yes.
Well, I'm definitely coming with my belly in my hand. So I'm looking forward to the menu. It's just a shame that you couldn't tell us now because I'm really looking forward to what we're going to be eating at the game.
Can I give you a false corn soup?
Okay.
It's a must. Of course, doubles is a must.
Right.
All right. I'll leave the rest. Go on Facebook, go on Instagram and our page, Jade Monkey Bar Tobago, and you'll definitely see the drinks list and the food menu online.
All right, definitely we will. And again, thank you so much for joining us. We are always happy to have the Jade Monkey family here on Tobago Updates with us, and we look forward to real vibes in the all-inclusive Warriors zone at that game that is happening on the 27th of March at the Dwight York Stadium. Guys, the gates open at 6 p.m. and the game kicks off at 8 p.m. Now, of course, you can get a regular ticket, but why would you get a regular ticket when you can have a whole all-inclusive ticket, right? You get that VIP entrance. You get up close and personal with the celebrities, guest artists. We have Iowa George as well as Ding Dong being there. And guys, it's not something that you want to miss. I mean, when last we really had a good football game, good football match, vibes at the Dwight York Stadium since COVID has happened. So we're getting back to that pre-COVID era where we came out as a one. We came out in solidarity. We waved our red, white, and black flag in support of the Soca Warriors. So guys, make sure to be a part of that celebration on the 27th of March. And hopefully we go to see a winning game.
We must also mention our Tobago own Mr. Winchester. He's playing in the game also. So come out and support Winchester that's playing on the game. So come out and give him your full support, guys.
All right. So you heard it here, guys. It's not something that we want to miss. We want to be back out in our pre-COVID glory, having a good time with our friends and family. And remember that this is a family affair, something for the whole family. So guys, thank you for being a part of our Good Morning Tobago show here right on Tobago Updates, #1 broadcasting station on the island. And guys, be sure to stay tuned here tomorrow because my co-host Candice Jackson, she's going to be here with you. Again, thank you for liking, sharing, and commenting, and just being there to make us the #1. Again, guys, have a great day, and thank you for tuning in to Tobago Updates.
It's a brand new morning, rise up to a brand new